In the words of Alaska, hi. Do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
Well, I have seen a few episodes.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Hi.
Oh, no.
No?
Not that person. I thought you meant RuPaul.
Everybody
I know
knows
who RuPaul is.
Hi, my name is Georgia.
Is it?
Yeah.
I would hope that our listeners know that by now.
What's your name?
Olivia.
Welcome to Nurse Ratchet.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Nice to be,
Like you're not here every single fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm quite proud of us being so consistent.
Me too. But, you know, you're the one that keeps me consistent.
You got to have someone to be accountable to sometimes, you know?
It's true. Accountability partner.
Oh, but this podcast would be nothing without you.
Thanks. That means
Of
a lot.
course. Of course. I need you here to bounce off.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, true.
Yeah, I can't just
it would
sit
be
here and
nothing
shit
without
talk
me.
by myself.
About yourself.
I could try, but it's just like I'm just sitting here with my thoughts, and it's good to have a second person thoughts, and your thoughts are hilarious.
Thanks.
We've got another fucking nursing nightmare fuel, so we're adding that to the list. Okay. We're gathering our nursing nightmare fuels. They're
What
getting
is it?
juicier and juicier. Well, I'm not telling you
Oh,
because we're saving it for the pod.
okay. Is this not the pod?
This is not the one. This is not the episode.
Ah,
Yeah, we want to like gather them
okay.
together for a full episode. That's the
Okay.
goal. We've got
Okay.
2, not enough for an episode. We want to have at least 5, I reckon. You know? So if you've got a nursing nightmare fuel, anything to do with nursing that is a nightmare, that you consider to be a nightmare, we would love to hear about it. Please email us at
Nerd.
at nurseratchetpodcast@gmail.com, or just DM me because that's what a lot of people are doing. Also, remember that you can comment on Spotify because no one's commenting now.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Tell us why, friends.
Last episode you were like, comment, we got comments.
I know.
Comment more. And now there's nothing.
There's no one. No one wants
Oh,
to speak to us
shit.
anymore.
You've
They've
scared
had
them off.
enough. I know.
Maybe it's the abortion
Probably.
thing.
I'd say that's probably what it is.
Oh, people can't take anything these days, can they?
Fucking snowflakes.
Seriously, though.
We love you, though. Please keep listening.
They're such a snowflake. Like, they're such snowflakes. They're not even fully formed
I'm a
snowflakes.
snowflake. All the snowflakiness is rubbed off on me.
Take
Did you
away
hear
the
that?
snow and leave flake. That's me.
Wait, are you a snow or a flake?
I'm a flake.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
See what I mean? You get it now?
You're also very snowy because
Take
you're
away
white.
the snow and...
You were like, am I?
But you see,
Your
this
face was like, what?
this is me with a tan.
Is it? Really? Are you
I'm
joking?
European. No, I'm not joking.
Put your thing away because we're recording. The
Oh,
vape.
fuck.
So that we can actually put some clips up on TikTok. Because I'll take down the vape clips. It's all very fucking policed on TikTok. Community guidelines.
Wait, what? You
and
can't vape on...
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Substance use or misuse or some shit. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
If I'm doing a live on TikTok, I can't have anything that resembles alcohol.
Or a dildo.
Definitely not a dildo. Oh my God, side note, funny story. In the pandemic when everything was on Zoom,
Oh my God, that
my
story.
son
Sorry.
was doing math tutoring
This
because
is the best thing.
I
The best thing.
was like shocking at homeschooling. I'm the first to admit I didn't do much of it, okay? So, but what I did do is get my son a math tutor. So here's the story. Don't judge us. So my son is in my room on my computer because that's all I had at the time, at my desk that had drawers in it doing math tutoring, right? And he's got ADD or some sort of learning disorder. And this tutor specialises in that, all that sort of stuff. So long story short, as an ADHD kid does, he gets distracted by the drawers that are just like there in front of him. And so he starts opening my drawers and he opened my dildo drawer and he picked up the biggest one on Zoom, massive purple bunny-eared one that
Rabbit.
also vibrates and also like twirls
Swirls?
around. Yeah, does it like a swirly situation. Turned it on. It starts fucking lights blinking. Really fucking loud as well. Some dildos are just not fucking subtle at all.
No.
He's holding it up at the camera. He's just like, what's this? Sort of thing. I come in to check on him. He's just got it in full view. Just fucking playing with the fucking purple bunny-eared dildo just on Zoom.
Nice.
So humiliating. I grab it off him, shove it in the drawer, and I'm like, sorry to the lady who's just like sitting there in shock. And then I go, and then I leave. I'm like, Hunter, don't go through my things, please. Focus on your math lesson if you can, my child. He's like, what is that? And I was like,
What do you even say?
well, I said it's my massager. It's my massager.
Yeah, for the internal organs.
Internal massager. I didn't say where.
No, I know that.
Yeah. So now sometimes it'll come up in conversation and be like, where did that massager go, Mum? My kids like to talk about sex and I'm open to it as well.
Do they talk about
They bring it up. Like if they bring
Really?
shit up, I'm happy to answer the questions in a child-appropriate way that they can understand. Like, what's sex? Oh, it's this, penis in vagina, or there's other ways, but that's for another day, How are babies made? Well, semen, eggs, penis, vagina. How do they come out? Do they come out of their bums or this is what Ruby said the other day. She was like, do babies come out of bums or vaginas? I was like, good question. Vaginas. Okay. That's like the end of it. They have questions. Yeah. Side note, we've got 2 cavies in here, so if you hear cavie snorts, there's nothing I can do about it. They also like to scratch on the dog bed on occasion. They've torn that shit up. Oh, they're so
Look
cute.
how
though.
cute they
Yeah,
are.
they're just snuggles.
Yeah.
They're just snuggling together. They're obsessed with each other. They're sisters, guys.
Would actually... I saw that.
Nellie just had a violent urge to scratch her ass and then she like rolled over in a somersault because she couldn't. She's not agile enough,
No, they're a bit chunky.
They are. They get fed well.
No, but they're cavaliers as well. They're naturally just...
Not agile doggies.
No, not really. Even though they're meant to be hunting dogs.
Are they really?
Yeah, modern breeding has just fucked all the dog breeds.
That's probably why
mate.
they killed my kittens.
The bulldog. Well, yeah, because they're hunting dogs. Yeah.
But what are they supposed to catch? They can barely catch themselves.
Rats and stuff.
Oh, that makes
The
sense.
size of a little kitten.
Oh, okay. Today we're doing part 3 of Paolo Macchiarini. I didn't intend to do a long intro, but it ended up that way anyway.
Oh, we were meant to record it last time, but you
Correct.
were pregnant.
But I was pregnant and in shock, so I was like,
We
that's not
barely got
happening.
through the part 2. Yes.
So let's get
Begin.
into it. This is Nurse Ratchet, ladies and gentlemen. Did
We
you
are
forget?
very ratchet.
We talk about all things ratchet.
Ratcheters.
Okay, so for a surgeon to make a mistake that could end up in a patient dying, that's like the worst thing that could happen to a surgeon, really.
That's seriously embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's humiliating as a
To
surgeon.
say the least. And despite this fact, there are a lot of surgeons who have psychopathic tendencies. Did you know that? Yeah. There's a scale called the Robert Harris Psychopathy Checklist.
Really?
Yes, that checks whether or not an individual displays traits of a psychopath.
I want to do this test.
You should do it. We should do
I'm so
it.
curious now.
Oh my God, I should have found it. Anyway,
How fucked up am I?
anyone who scores over 30 is considered to be a psychopath.
Oh, that's my mum.
Get her to take it. Just mail it to her.
She'd be disappointed with a score of 30,
You
I
reckon?
think. Yeah, she'd be like, nah, I'm 50.
I can do better.
Yeah.
The top 2 professions that continually score the highest are surgeons and politicians. I believe it.
I thought you were going to say lawyers or something.
No, politicians.
Politicians.
But that makes total sense.
Makes total sense,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
It
You've
would
got to
make-
be a psychopath to be a fucking politician these days, I think.
I mean, yeah.
Otherwise, how are you going to succeed?
It would make sense for surgeons to make this list, as they have to have nerves of steel and turn off their emotions in order to focus. But having traits of a psychopath does not automatically make you a psychopath. During an interview earlier on in his career, Paolo quoted a poet, T.S. Eliot. The poem goes, "Only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far they can go." So you
Yeah.
got to push the limits.
Yes, in other words.
Yes. And that's what he was all about.
Go further than anyone else.
Correct. He was speaking on his scientific endeavours, but really he was summing up the way he lived his entire life. The lies of Paolo spewed all over his personal life. Had they stayed in his personal life, it would just make him a con man. But unfortunately, the lies he spewed all over his professional life made him not only a con man, but a murderer. After breaking it off with Paolo, Benita told her story publicly in a damning Vanity Fair article.
Oh, wait, so Vanity Fair existed
It was
already?
only 2012 that she met him.
Oh, this is
Which is very recent, remember?
God, no, I remember, but, you know, for some reason I've got Jane Toppin in my mind and I'm thinking late 1800s.
You keep going with 1800s.
I know, because I'm just so impressed with her, remember?
Yes.
Yeah,
And they have very similar psychopathic tendencies.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's correlations.
Sorry, so I'm just thinking, oh my God, Vanity Fair existed in the 1890s?
No.
No.
So Benita was so fucking dirty with Paolo that she went and did a Vanity Fair article airing out all of their dirty laundry against the advice of her friends and family out of fear of repercussions. You know, she had video evidence of him. He would send her videos of him going, "Oh, good morning, darling. I love you. This and that." But she also had videos of all of the extravagant holidays they went on, him doing all the different things. So it would be hard for him to deny it if she exposed him because she had all this evidence. Unbeknownst to Benita, the timing of the article being released was immaculate because it was only a few weeks before a very telling documentary by an investigative journalist from Sweden called Bosa Linkevist would be released, which would ultimately lead to his fall from grace. So it was just like a big snowball of events that was not planned, but it was just like the universe taking down Paolo. Anyway, we'll get into
Karma.
it. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Whilst Benita's world was being rocked by Paolo across the world at Karolinska Institute in Sweden, 4 doctors, Dr. Matthias Korbasho, Dr. Carl Grinamo, Dr. Oscar Simonson and Dr. Thomas Fuchs were looking into Paolo and his conduct during a clinical trial. The Karolinska Institute is one of the most prestigious medical universities in Sweden. This is where they select the Nobel Prize in Medicine each year in Sweden.
Ooh, I see.
You would see what kind of motivation Paolo has there. He wants a Nobel Prize.
Yeah, Jesus. Can you imagine
what the
if
fuck?
he was
almost
given one?
got it. I swear to God.
I think it would have been, like, taken away from him.
Fuck yeah. Paolo's regenerative windpipes were implanted in nearly 20 people worldwide, and of these, the majority are dead. But that was the surface level. Beyond that was the falsified record keeping and reports. None of the complications or patient deaths made it into his research papers published in The Lancet. So he only reported on, well, he just fucking said that it was a success, made a fucking research paper and published it into The Lancet, had people sign off on it.
How? It's
don't
entirely false?
Well, people didn't know that. They trusted him. They worshipped the ground he walked on. It's fucked.
How much of a con man he is.
He's so good at it.
He's like politician level.
I know. It is actually.
It's just
pretty
telling
amazing.
it's just telling lies, and that's what politicians do.
Lies
you know
upon
what we
lies.
like to say to our patients when we're moving them in theatres? In theatres?
What
in
was that? Theatres? Did you just break? Theatre. Did you know we work in the theatre?
I tried to say like 3 different words in one, and that's what came out.
Yes.
Anyway.
Patients like to wiggle when we move them across, don't
Yes, but what we tell them is be like a politician, lie there and do nothing.
they? Lie and do nothing.
Yeah.
Not lie there.
Okay. You know what
You
I
fucked
mean.
it up. It's they say it every fucking time.
I know,
I
it's
need to
usually
just
the
think they're
anaesthetist.
so clever.
I know.
Lie and do nothing.
But I like to say that too. And you know what? It always gets a chuckle.
Oh, they love it.
Like without fail, it always gets a chuckle out of the patient, and it makes me laugh because I find it funny when the patient finds it funny.
Bit of an icebreaker before they go under the knife, you know?
Yeah, of course. That's what I try to do.
Literally it.
Is just break the ice constantly and chill them out a bit.
Hope we don't break them.
Yeah. You're reminding me.
Welcome
of
to
when
our
this
dark humour.
one time when a patient fell off the table.
That's a story for another day because we've got a lot to get through. Comment if you want us to tell that story. Okay. Paolo also should have implanted the tracheas into animals before humans, as you would imagine, right? As per the law. But there was no such testing done before human experiments. He just went fucking straight in. No, he just was lazy, I would say. I don't think he wanted the chance to show that they don't work.
But what's so bad about it not working? That just means you try something else because that's the whole point of research.
No idea. I can't even begin to fathom his mindset.
He couldn't be a failure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Probably, I would say so. How did Paolo get away with this? Everyone's asking. The podcast Killer Psyche says that it's because the bandwagon effect, which is when people are so eager to show their loyalty to someone, they hesitate to criticise them. And with all Paolo's fame and support from high-ranking medical experts, it was very easy for everyone to fall in line for him. He was seen as a scientific pioneer and everyone worshipped the ground he walked on, which is fucked. Dr. Grinamo describes the culture at Karolinska University Hospital as special, but not in a good way. More in the way that you had to deal with unfriendly senior surgeons who kicked your ass in the morning meetings. In order to survive at Karolinska, you kept your mouth shut because the culture was that of bringing people down in order to build them up into good surgeons. Isn't that fucked? It's like also a very common thing. It's like eat your own young because that'll make them into good professionals. I don't think so.
It's really common in neurosurgery.
Yeah, and in nursing as well. Dr. Grinamo felt this only made surgeons reluctant to speak up against malpractice, and I tend to fucking agree. That is my mantra. It's like if you've got a bully culture, no one's going to speak up against
they're too afraid.
Shenanigans. Exactly. In 2014, the 4 doctors were following up on one of Paolo's patients, Yoshim Satir, who was operated on 191 times after going under Paolo's knife for complications.
What the fuck?
I know. They said a person typically would go for maybe max 5 extra surgeries for complications. This lady had 191 extra surgeries for complications after her synthetic trachea.
In like how many years? In what period of time?
From 2016 to 2019. She died eventually.
God.
Yeah, I know. Fucked.
Oh, that is so depressing.
It's fucked. Her suffering was compounded by Paolo failing to offer any follow-up care, which was typical behaviour for him. So he would operate and then fuck off to Russia and be never heard of again until he was doing another surgery in Sweden.
Abandon his patients.
He would. Yoshim Satir was the young Turkish woman in her 20s mentioned in part 1 who had damaged trachea from a surgery to reduce hand sweating. Do you remember? The damaged trachea was close to the carina, which divides the trachea into the two main bronchi, left and right. Lungs, basically.
That's that, like, where it V's off.
Yeah. Turkish doctors tried to repair it in 2 separate surgeries, but she continued to worsen. She had problems with mucus and coughed often. Her father was told by Turkish doctors that Paolo had options for her that they did not, so she reached out to him. When he accepted the surgery, Paolo decided he needed to see the extent of the damage done to her trachea. This is so fucked. So instead of doing, say, a bronchoscopy or something you would expect, he decided to do an exploratory thoracotomy to look at her trachea. I beg your pardon?
Bit unnecessary.
Why? You could just do a fucking bronch.
Was it just because he could get more money out of her?
I don't know. Who knows?
Did they do bronchs? Yeah, they did.
Yes, it was 2016.
Yes.
It was not the 1800s.
God, I can't get it out of my head. You keep saying things and I'm like, wow, that's weird for the 1890s.
Did they even do fucking thoracotomies in the 1800s? I don't know.
Did they do bronchs back then?
Did they have fibre optic scopes? What the fuck?
Oy, oy, oy.
Oh my God.
Brain is just like set in this
Stay with
certain
me.
time period.
We are in the 2000s.
I'm with the whole story.
Yeah,
Other
except
than
you're in
the
a different
time
fucking
period.
century.
Yeah, totally with the story, babe.
Oh my God.
Oy, oy, oy.
Excessive, right? Dr. Grinamo thought that very strange. I mean, yeah. Given that they had 3D CT scans and other such technology available.
That's shocking.
Oh my God, just do a CT. During the procedure, things went catastrophically wrong. Paolo got too close to the trachea and did some traction to visualize better, and he ruptured her trachea. This caused an uncontrollable bleed in her right lung. In order to get control of the ventilation, Paolo had to staple off the whole right lung. He had to intubate her whole left lung and put her on ECMO. So he stapled off her right lung, intubated her on the left side, put her on ECMO.
Nice.
Not really nice because he fucking fucked her up when he didn't fucking have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Can I just say the thing about the trachea is it has like cartilage rings throughout the whole length of it. Yeah. So it's not just like a floppy muscle type thing, tissue. It actually has like cartilaginous rings that go throughout it to support it, obviously. So I'm just thinking when you said that he ruptured it with traction.
From a thoracotomy.
It's not just he's like
Near
pulling
the carina.
apart tissue. He's actually rupturing and breaking cartilage as well by the sounds of it.
So it must have been some fucking excessive traction.
Yeah. I'm just trying to explain it for people that aren't like medical is like just trying to paint a picture of how severe that must have been.
Yeah.
And then to go, that makes sense, to have to like intubate one lung only and then go on ECMO.
Yeah.
That's just
He obviously fucked up her right lung on the carina side.
That must have happened.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture it in my brain when you think of the like anatomical structures.
Yeah. And she probably had a little scar tissue and damage there. It was probably friable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a smart move, Paolo.
Man.
Like the decision to even do a thoracotomy is fucking questionable.
I was just about
and
to
no
say,
one would have questioned it because he's so intimidating.
thinking? It's like certain doctors that we know that do certain procedures unnecessarily, like putting in an unnecessary central line
because to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
they charge the patient. Paolo argued that the way to fix her fast was to implant his new biosynthetic trachea.
Of course, because everything he does is perfect and right.
And the trachea is the answer to all things that Paolo
he seems
fucks
very
up.
intent on that. Like that his creation is there's nothing wrong with it.
But it almost sounds intentional that he's caused this damage to put in his trachea.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Suspect. Suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
God, I haven't heard that for years.
Don't be suspicious. Anyway, yeah. So he suggested the trachea. Yashim was the 5th patient to receive this trachea. The surgery went as planned and was weaned off ECMO. However, the next evening after the surgery...
Wait, it went as planned, did it?
Yeah. I mean, as well.
Is that what he claims?
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She was weaned off ECMO. However, the next evening after the surgery, Dr. Fuchs, Dr. Grinamo and Dr. Kobashio were working in the ICU and they responded to a code in Yashim's room. She was struggling to breathe and looked panicked, really panicked. She went into a respiratory arrest.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They needed to start CPR but were hesitant out of fear of Paolo and damaging her trachea further.
I was just about to say, you're going to be compressing right
there
on the centre of where they've operated.
Instead, they set her up on ECMO again. To save
every
time.
day you're on ECMO, your chance of survival decreases by like 7% or more.
Oh, really?
Yep. Every day, every 24 hours, your chance of survival is decreasing drastically.
Yeah,
it's not good to be on ECMO.
No.
Yes, it's a life-saving measure, but you don't want to be on that shit for long.
That's right.
The longer, the worse.
In the weeks that followed, Yashim wasted away, losing muscle so much that she had to use a wheelchair to mobilise. She needed a feeding tube to eat because her esophagus had been removed as well in follow-up surgeries.
Fucking hell.
Yep.
Miserable life. That's
know.
not a quality of life.
No, not at all. Every 4 hours, she needed mucus suctioned out of her trachea. How horrible.
Ew.
Yeah, and as mentioned earlier, she needed countless surgeries to address complications. All the while, Paolo, her primary surgeon, was nowhere to be seen. He reportedly left after every one of his surgeries and was near impossible to contact about his patient's post-op care. As Yashim declined and Paolo could not be contacted, the doctors decided to refer to some of Paolo's studies published in The Lancet on the 4 reportedly successful transplants prior to Yashim's for advice on what to do next. So they're looking into The Lancet. They're like, okay, there's been 4, air quotes, successful tracheas. Let's go see what the research says in The Lancet. You know, what should we do if shit goes south? Surely something is published in there because you kind of have to, right? They were shocked. Right. They were shocked. Imagine their surprise to discover that his papers did not match his patient's medical records. So they had those. They were comparing the research papers.
They're doing an audit, basically.
Pretty much. He did not publish any of his patient's side effects, and he had intentionally falsified the results to say that they'd turned out better than they did in their medical records. He knew his patients were getting worse and not better, and he knew that before he published his papers, but he did not care.
So his papers say
They were
contradicting information
Some
to
had
what
even
their
died.
medical records said. Okay.
Pretty much.
I see.
Yep. The doctors found so many lies and scientific misconduct that they felt it was their duty to report it to Karolinska, which is, honourable.
Yeah.
Especially considering that their names were on the papers because they were his direct assistants.
That's
Fucked.
terrifying.
Brave, though. Very brave. In the meantime, though, they needed to sort out Yashim. A mandatory meeting was called for Yashim's care in which Paolo had to fly back to attend. Paolo dodged accountability by complaining about the quality of care at the hospital, suggesting that the complications were due to the maltreatment of the clinicians in charge of her care.
It's always the nurse's fault.
The nurses and the doctors. He took zero responsibility and was able to get away with this due to the hospital's hierarchical culture and how revered he was as a super surgeon. Hierarchy. I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times. It's bad. Bad business.
It causes mistakes to happen.
No one questions it.
Yeah. Negative outcomes for the patient sometimes.
All the time.
Yeah.
To add insult to injury, the meeting took place just feet away from where Yashim was suffering in the ICU. Yashim heard Paolo would be there and she was eager to discuss her care and complications she was experiencing. She wanted answers, and so she put on her best dress, cleaned herself up, put makeup on her face, and prepared to have a conversation about her care with her surgeon. But he did not see her. He walked straight past the ICU after his meeting and did not go in. The meeting that was directly about her. And he just fucking yeeted himself out the hospital
So
as quick as he
cold-hearted.
fucking could. So cold. Everyone told him about the effort she went to get dressed, and he ignored it. The 4 doctors were fucking outraged. The doctors decided then and there if Paolo couldn't or wouldn't help Yashim, then they would, and they decided to work together to bring Paolo's misconduct to light. So they asked the head of the department to send Paolo a stern email stating there will not be any possibility of carrying out any more trachea implant surgeries at the Department of Cardiothoracic Surgery until the concerns about Yashim have been addressed and dealt with. That went unanswered.
He's just running away.
Oh my God. Anyway.
He's a coward.
Oh, definitely. After this email, Paolo met with Dr. Grinamo, though, at the Karolinska Library one day, and he found that Paolo was very hostile. Grinamo stated that he was looking into Yashim and her complications, and he asked if the complications were similar with the patients in Russia, just to get some fucking information, right?
Start tying things together.
Yeah. Putting two to. Paolo was furious at his audacity to question the success of his surgery. He screamed it was none of his business. He threatened he would make his life miserable if he continued and that it would be the end of his career.
Oh, fucking bitch.
What a cunt. From his digging, Dr. Thomas Fuchs had discovered that the first patient that received the biosynthetic trachea, Miriam Bain, had recently died. Like super recently, like within the last couple of days. This was the patient that Dr. Grinamo closed following that hemorrhage that Paolo walked out on.
I see.
Yes. Initially, Paolo wanted him cremated without an autopsy, and the head of the department refused to stop the cremation.
Why the fuck does he have a say in that?
Don't know. Yeah, exactly, Nelly. The 4 doctors went behind the backs of the heads of the department and performed an illegal autopsy.
It's
kind of badass.
That's so awesome.
It's kind of badass.
It really is.
It's
they
not
have like big
ethical.
balls and no fear. I like this.
They were like, nah, fuck that.
No, but they just want to do the right thing and find out what's going on.
Right, yeah. At the
Sometimes you got to break the rules to get to the truth.
I know, yeah, that's it.
And save other people.
In Feb 2014, the autopsy showed the trachea had been decaying inside of him. The graft was totally disconnected. The stem cells never took. The exact same complications were present in Yashim as well. That's rain. So calming. Shall we do a mid-podcast meditation? Dr. Thomas Fuchs worked in the lab with animal studies and with rats. He had begun implanting the tracheas in rats and explained that the tracheas were also showing decay. So this is after the fact, after they'd started with humans. Now they're doing animal studies to cover their tracks, I reckon.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Over the next few days, they continued to dig quietly into the other patient records that had received the experimental tracheas. They made the grim discovery that Paolo didn't have ethical approval for doing this experimental surgery at all, which is totally illegal. You have to get ethical approval before you do experimental research.
From the ethics board?
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't have it. In August, they sent in a 500-page report of the evidence that they had gathered against Paolo to the head of Karolinska, including this autopsy.
Oh, that's a lot of
So this is at the
evidence.
detriment of their careers at this point.
Yeah.
Right? By doing this, they knew they would be signing their own death warrants and would ultimately be fired for the digging they had done and the unauthorised autopsy they had performed on Anna Miriam Bain. But they were so appalled by what Paolo was doing, they were content with it. They took photos holding a box with a report inside to mark the momentous occasion. They were like, okay, we're getting fired. Go up.
These are good doctors. These are doctors that care.
These are the people you want looking after you.
Yeah, and they're few and far in between. Cut.
I love you.
Every fucking time. Just fucking cut it. Just cut it out. It's
We
just
know
easy.
too much.
I've said too much. Just cut.
They sent it off and awaited a response. What do you think Karolinska did? Take a wild guess.
I am very much hoping
They did all the things.
they did the right things and they didn't make these doctors lose their careers because of this.
They heard nothing.
Fantastic.
0 things. They called the heads of the university and they refused to meet with them. It was only after a Vanity Fair article came out about Paolo Macchiarini being a con artist, as told by one Benita Alexander, that Karolinska was forced to respond.
Fucking Vanity Fair doing all
I
the work
know.
here. Like,
Drama.
what the shit.
It's like broadcasted worldwide.
I know. Just amazing, really.
While these doctors were digging, we just had a pee break.
Yeah.
It's currently pouring outside. Sorry if you can hear the rain. While these doctors were digging up Paolo's countless medical misconducts, Benita had reached out to Vanity Fair and spilled the beans on every detail of Paolo's indiscretions in their relations, revealing how she had dated him during the development of the documentary and how it painted him in a better light than what he deserved. This, along with the report from the doctors, sparked Karolinska to finally do an internal review. So it's all just like aligning beautifully. Enter Busa Linkovist. He was an investigative journalist. He came across the New York Times report that Benita had come across in part 2 on the scientific misconduct allegations by 4 whistleblower doctors. This is when she's planning her wedding, remember? He was curious about why 4 doctors would risk their careers if it wasn't true. He's looking for a story, you know what I mean? In 2015, Busa called Paolo for an interview and he agreed. Paolo was soft-spoken in his demeanour, but he had a flashy rock star quality about him also. During this interview, Paolo made it clear he wasn't speaking on his personal life. Instead, Paolo shared his ultimate vision about using stem cells to grow and repair organs like a true fucking hero. Busa then reached out to each of the doctors at Karolinska. At first, they were fearful to talk because they had been vilified up until this point about what they were saying against Paolo by Karolinska officials and their co-workers. So they basically sent this report in and they were like bullied and told to shut the fuck up. Eventually, Matthias Kobasha agreed to talk to him. He was an American working in Karolinska in Sweden. Busa had a hard time believing what Kobasha was saying. He felt maybe they were paranoid as their claims were a bit outlandish. He only started to believe him when his Swedish wife corroborated his story. I don't know why. Busa started to investigate further after this. So he was like, oh, this looks juicy. I'm going to look into it. So he decided to construct his own documentary on Paolo. So Paolo agreed to let him trail him and do a documentary, thinking that it would be another fucking amazing, you know, but little did he know. He filmed him at work and met his research team. He was trying to understand the allegations against Paolo and wasn't quite sure what he believed yet. So he was doing some digging. He's an investigative journalist. He wants to get to the bottom of it. He read up on everything he could find about Paolo. He watched Benita's documentary, A Leap of Faith, which was obviously very biased because Paolo had her so conned. By this point, there there were 8 patients that had received the synthetic tracheas. Dr. Kobashi had raised the alarm about 3 of these patients in Sweden. And Busa was also made aware of Hannah Warren, the 2-year-old in America who had died. But that's all he knew at this point. Paolo's supported stated to Busa that trying something new is a vital part of bravely moving something forward. Christian Bernard, when he was first starting doing heart transplants, everybody threw rocks at him when he started doing heart transplants. Tom Starzl, when he first started doing liver transplants, the first 79 patients all died and everyone thought he was nuts.
Really?
But like these things led to amazing transplants, you know. Busa decided he needed to get answers, but he needed to track down more of Paolo's patients in order to do that. So he saw that these patients were scattered all over the world and he went to Russia. One of these patients was Yulia Chulik, who lived in St. Petersburg, Russia. She was the healthy 33-year-old single mother who was a dancer and had injured her trachea in the car accident. Do you remember? Yeah. To breathe, she had a tracheostomy, but she wanted to get rid of it. So she reached out to Paolo, basically. She wanted to sing again and, you know, be a full-blown professional dancer and to be a proper mother to her son. Busa discovered that whilst her surgery was widely publicised as a great success, the problems for Yulia started immediately after her surgery, including trouble breathing, fever, and coughing for hours. He tried to contact her for an update, but was answered by her mother. Yulia's mother said he would have to die to speak to her because she was dead.
Oh.
Dramatic.
Fuck.
I know. In 2015, Busa flew to St. Petersburg, Russia to speak with Yulia's mother after getting this news. Her mother had seen how Paolo charmed and seduced her daughter. He had always been available to her prior to the procedure, but after the procedure, he went MIA, as he does. She began to experience problems just 2 weeks after the surgery, and he wasn't able to be contacted. Her mother told Busa that her daughter smelled of rotting meat.
Oh, Jesus.
She had to get the implant replaced and suffered constant infections and eventually slowly suffocated to death. Before the surgery, Yulia could have lived a long life with her trach. She was not terminal. She just wanted a better quality of life, right? But after Paolo's surgery, she suffered and only lasted 2 years. Busa tracked down Yulia's medical charts and was shocked to see how she suffered and died. And then he looked for other medical charts for Paolo's other patients. All of them told the same story. There is footage.
There's what?
Footage of Yulia. I just said footage. I made a new word. There's footage of Yulia hardly being able to get air and asking if there was an issue. And Paolo reassuring her that the prosthesis was good. So they did a documentary on her. The documentary Supercells about Yulia told a beautiful story about the girl who had a hole in her throat and how Paolo helped her. It shows her successfully speaking to a crowd of reporters after her surgery. Busa later found an email from the producer of Supercells following up on Yulia. It read, "Dear Yulia Chulik, I hope you have recovered well and are able to enjoy life. The documentary is going to be shown this month. Do you want to see it? How are you anyway? Are you having any trouble so far? Is the new trachea working as it should?" Yulia responded to this email and said, "I am very, very bad. More than half a year I have spent in hospital. 3 weeks after the surgery, I had started rotting from the inside and I am still rotting. I now weigh 47 kilos. I can barely walk. It's difficult to breathe. I have no voice. It smells from me in a way that people shudder away.
Yeah.
The artificial tracheas are pure shit, I'm sorry to say." And that was the last anyone heard of her. I've got chills from that email. Like,
what happened after?
Shocking. She died. This was sent prior to the documentary being aired, and they did nothing to stop it or update it at all. So people are complicit in this, not just fucking Paolo. That was the producer of the documentary.
I was just about to say anyone who's getting money out of this.
It's crazy. I wonder if they informed Paolo or they just fucking were in on it. You know? Busa continued throughout 2015 gathering evidence against Paolo. It took him over 12 months to gather enough evidence to show that Paolo was negligent. Karolinska's investigation into Paolo after the New York Times article was released was going very slowly also. Meanwhile, the 4 doctors were being treated as outcasts and were looked as jealous researchers who had something against Paolo, being bullied for being whistleblowers. Busa was going through old footage of Yulia's documentary in March of 2012, and one of the clips showed Paolo, who received a phone call during the documentary. This is a smoking gun, basically. He walked away to take the call while he was being filmed for Yulia's story, but his mic was still on. so he had a hot mic. He walked away for privacy. Paolo was talking with another doctor, stating that his method wasn't working and wasn't fully developed. At this time, he had one dead patient and another that was suffering badly. And he was planning to do it to a 2-year-old at that time, knowing full well that it wasn't working on humans. And he hadn't done any animal studies. He'd not got ethical approval. He fucking knew what he was doing, and he had proof of it on camera. So the experiment was a 3-part documentary released by Busa on Swedish TV a few weeks after Benita's Vanity Fair article. Right? So you've got the report, and then you've got Benita's Vanity Fair article, and then you've got this documentary. The whistleblowing doctors watched with anticipation after being reprimanded constantly for their concerns, hoping for some vindication, and they got it. The doctors, whilst feeling vindicated, felt it didn't even touch the horror story they knew to be Paolo Macchiarini's exploits, but they had to be grateful regardless. In the final episode of this 3-part series, it showed footage of the very first patient to receive the synthetic trachea, Miriam Bain, describing that he was told by Paolo that it was his only chance and that they had done experiments on animals and it was working. So he trusted him. It's literally on camera. Him explaining to Miriam that he'd done animal studies, when he hadn't. So that's on informed consent, is it? As we know, this was false. So he lied plainly to his patients' faces to get them to consent. It also showed Busa's final interview with Paolo, where he finally confronts him about his misconduct. Not surprisingly, Paolo ended this interview promptly when Busa questioned him at all about it. He cracked the shits. This is what he does. It's his pattern. Whenever he's confronted, he gets angry. When Benita watched the documentary, she recognised how Paolo reacted to being questioned by Busa as how he used to react when she and him had issues. Every time she recognised something was wrong, he would gaslight her so well that she believed everything he said and did. She also learned from this documentary about the 4 whistleblowers and the deaths of all the patients and Paolo's misconduct, and she was disgusted. Because up until then, she only knew that he was a fucking con man and a fucking psycho in relationships. She had no idea how much of a psycho he was in terms of his scientific misconduct. She had no idea he was a murderer, which he fucking was. Following the documentary release, Karolinska's bosses were really angry with the 4 doctors, because that's how you react, isn't it? The Vice-Chancellor sent out a bulk email stating that they had no idea about what Paolo had done, except they got a 500-page document.
Yeah.
Okay. They eventually fired Paolo on March 23, 2016 because they were their hand was forced.
It's like Charles Cullen again.
Yeah. The hospitals do nothing until they're forced.
Covering their asses.
Yeah. They reopened an investigation into scientific misconduct due to the evidence that had come to light about the Russian patients in the documentary, and they used that as an excuse. They were like, yeah, we had info about issues in Karolinska, but because of the Russian patients, we had no idea. And it's like, Yashim Satir suffered for 3 years in your ICU.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, bro. And Miriam Bain as well. What the fuck? His trachea was rotting in his throat. The 4 doctors were outraged as they provided Karolinska with a 500-page document clearly showing all the misconduct in the 3 Karolinska patients. And as far as they were concerned, they had more than enough evidence with that report alone. They were well aware about the complications of Paolo's surgeries. They just ignored it.
Yeah.
The only thing that was new was that the whole world knew. The Karolinska's inquiry found that Paolo had received special treatment due to his relationships within the institution and had basically been able to do what he wanted without any consequences. Hierarchy. Macchiarini never followed through with the required steps needed to get his artificial organs approved. He needed to test first on animals and never did that. He didn't do any risk assessment of the procedure, nor did he get government permits for any of the components used, and he never received approval from the Medical Ethics Board of Stockholm. So he did fuck all. He later argued...
It was all fake?
Yeah.
All fake?
He just fucking went ahead and operated on people.
It's like the real-life version of AI, but... It's just fucking fake.
It's crazy.
He's a total con artist.
He is.
Bullshitter.
He's fucking psycho. He later argued he did his surgeries under the compassionate use loophole. He also said he was not doing research, so he should not be held to that standard.
Okay, why are you doing operations that haven't been researched, though?
Why are you writing research papers then, cunt?
And why are you doing operations not to research the operation if it's experimental?
Yeah. Why?
Is it not research?
Tell us why.
It's a test. It's an experiment, literally.
I know. It's like if you're writing fucking research papers, if you're doing doesn't add up, Paolo. Sorry, mate. The compassionate use loophole is where a patient facing certain death with no other treatment options available and no time to waste, new treatments can be tried as a last resort. Compassionate concerns, however, don't override the basic principles of patient safety and informed consent, cunt.
Yeah.
The investigators at Karolinska didn't buy it, thank God, and he was fired. So he's basically arguing these patients are all dying, so it's okay to just do whatever the fuck I want to on them without ethical approval and to coerce them into doing it based on lies. It's so abhorrent. Harriet Warburg was the Vice Chancellor of Karolinska Institute when Paolo was recruited, and even though there were many red flags in Paolo's resume, she greenlighted his employment, unlike Italy. Remember? The Vice Chancellor, the Dean of Research, and the Secretary General of the Nobel Committee resigned, and the entire university board was dismissed from Karolinska. So a lot of people lost their jobs after this. Paolo was then investigated in 2016 by the Swedish police into whether he was guilty of involuntary manslaughter. They interviewed Paolo numerous times, and they also interviewed Yushim Satir, who was alive at the time. In one of those interviews, she stated, quote, "For 3 years, I've been in this room. I've lost my teeth. I now have problems with my eyes. I've been on a lot of medication. I feel like a sacrificial lamb." Poor thing.
Yeah.
Again, Yushim had 191 surgeries before she died, and by the time she died, they had removed a fourth of her internal organs. Wow, crazy. Benita flew to Sweden for the press conference held by the Swedish police to determine the results of the investigation into Paolo, hoping that he would be charged, right? Whilst they found that he had been negligent and there was no proof that his tracheas worked, they couldn't prove he had committed any crimes. They dropped the investigation in 2017. So fucking got away with it. Meanwhile, Karolinska did find him guilty of scientific misconduct, but they also found the whistleblowers responsible because they were co-authors on his scientific papers. So they were like, fuck you too.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Grinamo was found to have mishandled and manipulated biopsy samples. In his defence, he said he simply sent it to the labs at Paolo's request and had no reason to question him at the time, you know? A doctor tells you to do something, you kind of do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Especially a consultant, a top dog, big dog. The 4 doctors had uncovered the biggest research fraud in Swedish history, and they had found them negligent as well, like the audacity. Even though Karolinska gave them credit eventually for the report, they argued they also had to hold them accountable for being on the falsified research papers. Yeah. Karolinska eventually publicly apologised to the 4 doctors for not believing them initially and the bullying and the alienation they received following. However, the doctors didn't accept this apology and said that the stain of being found blameworthy by Karolinska as well had made it nearly impossible to get funding for further research. Karolinska holds lifelong grudges, and they did that on purpose to send a message to other people not to be whistleblowers. Isn't that fucked?
In other words, shut up and do the wrong thing.
It's like, hey, we acknowledge your whistleblowers and we make sure that you don't have any repercussions, but also you're at fault and don't be a whistleblower and don't impact our reputation because there could be consequences. Karolinska flatly denied purposely impacting the 4 doctors' careers going forward. I don't believe it. Busa flew to meet Benita in Brooklyn. He wanted to know why she believed in his outrageous lies. He was like, why the fuck, babe? Like, the Pope? Really? But after speaking to her, he realised she was very sharp and intelligent, and there was so much more to it than the fact that she was just duped. And by understanding what had happened to Benita, you get a hint on how he was able to manipulate science and academia.
Yeah.
You know? Benita says every time she goes public with her story, she gets bullied for believing Paolo. But do the patients get the same blame? Do Karolinska? No. It's just her, because she's a woman. In 2019, an Italian court sentenced Paolo to 16 months parole for abuse of office and falsifying documents in Italy, like prior to all of this, right? They looked into it after all of this shit came out. He pled not guilty to every charge ever made against him. His narcissism prevents him from thinking he could do anything wrong and caring about the consequences of his actions, basically. In June of 2022, he was cleared of all of those charges, but thankfully a Swedish appeals court charged Paolo and found him guilty of gross assault, and he was eventually sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, where he will serve it in Spain, where he lives. It is not even remotely what he fucking deserves. No, but it's something.
I mean, it's almost murder.
It is murder. He knew. He fucking knew, and yet he continued. He didn't give a fuck. He didn't follow up on his patients, and there's clear evidence of him not giving a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's not like he had the intent to kill them, potentially. So that's why they, can't get him for murder, maybe. But
first degree.
But I mean, really, that's right. There's different degrees.
Second degree,
second and third.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, but clearly he needed to be done for assault at the very fucking least. What did he get done for?
Grievous bodily harm. What about grievous bodily harm?
I know.
Unless that's not a thing over there. They have it's called something else.
What did he get done for? Gross assault. It definitely is assault. But 2 years,
but it's fucking...
he needed to get done for way more. And maybe if he was in America or Australia, it's Sweden. They're pretty onto it, usually.
Actually,
are they?
The thing is, so Sweden, they have the lightest prison.
Oh, are they a bit more progressive in terms of their prison sentences as well?
So in terms of what it's like to be a prisoner there, they have daily counselling, they have their own rooms, they have a lot of rights, they can go outside, they get jobs,
they're into rehabilitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
They try and reintegrate them from the very start or get them ready to be reintegrated into society. They have a very different approach, and you know what? The reoffending rate is the lowest in the world.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. It's very effective. People that once did kill someone, they murdered someone, seem to actually really turn their life around. And I watched a documentary where they interview these people that have gotten out and made a change. And with proper counselling, some of these people can actually make a change.
And I believe it in certain circumstances.
Certain
this guy's a
yes.
fucking narcissistic psychopath.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But it doesn't say anywhere in here that he was stripped of his medical license.
That's what I'm just thinking. What happens?
I don't think so. It doesn't say anywhere that in my research that he's been stripped of his medical license and his ability to operate.
Where is he
when
now?
he gets out in jail.
He's still in jail?
Yeah, because he was sentenced in 2022.
Okay.
He'll almost be out though.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's only 2 years.
2.5.
2.5, okay.
It'll be this year, mid-year, that he'll get out.
Fuck.
And usually on good behaviour, you can have that sentence this cunt. I can't.
Yeah.
Paolo jet-setted across the world in order to do his surgeries without people following up on results with the various institutions. That in itself shows you're covering up.
Yeah.
He used the excuse that many were close to death before he interfered, but that was contrary to the evidence that many were otherwise healthy. His patients suffered immensely. One of the doctors said, given the choice between Paolo's synthetic trachea and a firing squad, he would choose the firing squad because it would be the less painful form of execution because it's almost certain death to receive a fucking synthetic trachea from Paolo Macchiarini.
Yeah, and it's a long drawn-out one, whereas a firing squad is pretty instant.
Killer Psyche, the podcast, analysed Paolo's behaviour and stated he was a classic malignant narcissistic psychopath, meaning that his narcissism was so severe and profound that it made him dangerous. He had a hard time accepting his flaws and failures. He screamed and blamed other doctors when confronted with his inconsistency. It shows he knew he was wrong, and by shouting showed he refused to even hear it. He wanted a Nobel Prize, and if anything got in the way of that...
Small penis.
Yeah. Psychopaths have a profound lack of empathy. They are callous, however, they ooze charm. He loved to lie, and he was addicted to it, and he would spread it out slowly and add in half-truths along the way. And the lies got bigger and more outlandish with each telling.
And he couldn't keep up in the end, could he?
No. The natural question is, was he delusional? Did he believe what he was telling her? No. He knew what he was doing. He just needed everyone else to believe it for his own gain. He was a pathological liar. They have a clear motive. They lie for personal gain and to manipulate. That type of lying is a symptom of antisocial and narcissistic personality disorder. The lying is a disease and they cannot stop it. They lie from a very young age with little white lies initially that get bigger, and they always attempt to push the boundaries of the lie and see how far they can go. They also say that it's a frequent thing for pathological liars to say they are in the CIA to cover up their tracks.
What?
I know. So interesting.
What?
Because it's a secret
heard that.
Yeah, because it's a secret organization and no one can prove he's not in it. So it's a thing.
The CIA is a secret organisation. How do you mean?
If you're in the CIA, everything's top secret.
Right.
No one can prove you're in it or not in it.
No one knows that you are. You have a different identity, maybe.
You can't go to the CIA and say, hey, is this guy an agent?
Yeah.
They won't tell you.
Of course.
Yeah. Pathological liars feel no shame when they are caught in a lie. They simply try to cover it up with a bigger lie. And if that doesn't work, they simply move on to their next victim. They're like, oh, fuck you. I'll go lie to the next person. Kawasaki Podcast believes Paolo was a pathological liar. He did not care that people were dying. These types of people never stop lying. Paolo was going to lie himself to the point of winning a Nobel Prize. That was his goal. And thankfully he never got that far thanks to the brave people who dared to speak out against him despite the repercussions that followed. And that is the story of Paolo fucking Macchiarini.
Wow.
The super surgeon,
Amazing.
CIA sniper turned jailbird.
Dropper of the soap. I hope he drops it every day.
I hope he stubs his toe every single day in the shower, so badly that his nail bleeds.
Yeah, and he has to drop the soap.
I hope he gets a really serious lung infection.
Yeah, or he ends up with a trachea.
Yeah, I hope he ends up with a trachea.
Without a
sure.
ventilator so he can suffocate to death just like his poor patients.
I hope he has to get a suction every single day.
You mean every 4 hours minimum?
Yeah, and then he gets sepsis and then he suffers a very slow fucking death because that's the bare minimum he deserves for the fucking grievous bodily harm he's inflicted on multiple people.
He literally tortured a 2-year-old to death.
He did. He did. He took that little girl from her parents far too early. He took all of these people far too early in the most disgusting and horrible way. And again, some of them were not terminal. They just wanted a better quality of life and he fucking robbed them of that.
Like, what gives you the right to do that?
Nothing.
No, nothing. Just your own fucking entitlement in your own brain.
Yeah. And it's clear people like that can't be fixed. So it's like, you really do deserve to spend your entire life rotting in prison.
What is he even going to do when he gets out? Who the fuck wants a person like that around? What is he going to contribute to society? Nothing. He shouldn't be allowed to contribite to society.
Oh my God, I just hope.
What good is he going to do?
see if he fucking... Where's my Google? I'm going to ask Google if he's lost his license. Doesn't say whether he's been stripped of his fucking license.
Who's going to hire him after though, right?
I'd fucking hope so. Surely if you're found guilty of scientific misconduct and grievous bodily harm and all that shit, you'd have your medical license removed. Here's hoping. Watch this space. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out.
When he gets out this year.
If anyone knows, please comment on the Spotify comments and let us know, or send us a DM on our Instagram. Please send us your nursing nightmare fuels or any kind of medical nightmare that you've encountered, or a spooky story. We want to do a spooky story episode. We're going to go to bed. It's fucking 11:30. All right. Love yous.
Have a good sleep.
Keep it ratchet and all that, you know. Don't be as ratchet as Paolo Macchiarini, though. Like,
just as ratchet as us.
Yeah, just keep it ratchet like us.
It's a good level.
Yeah, keep it balanced.
Not too little, not too much.
Yeah.
Just right.
Peace.
Porridge.
Peace out.